Hi everyone, welcome to my podcast Keep It Together by Arti Bajaj. I'm a life and a yoga coach, and if you have any dilemmas you'd like me to guide you through, please DM your questions on our Instagram keepittogether.kids or email us on info@kidshop.me. Today, I bring to you our second episode of series Glimpses, where I'd like to ask my listeners a question. Did you love yourself when growing up? Think about it. Did you really love yourself when growing up? Did your families instill values of self care, or were you just left to figure it out all by yourself? Well, while you ponder over these questions, we have a young lady joining us today who will be sharing her life experiences with us that'll help us understand the importance of self love when growing up. Today, we're going to be in conversation with Dubai born and raised Amreen Khan. She's a successful entrepreneur who's been running her own production studio named Pixels since over a decade now. As a side hustle, she follows her passion for traveling and has created yet another success story by being a travel vlogger through her YouTube channel, Just Go with Amreen. Welcome to my podcast, Amreen. How's it going?
I'm doing great, Arti. Thank you for having me. What a lovely introduction.
Well, it's our pleasure. So, our first big question for today's podcast and for you, Amreen, is did you love yourself when growing up?
Well, not at all. I didn't even know what that meant, to be honest. In fact, I didn't learn to love myself up until like a year ago. I have learned to love myself after 3 decades of my life.
Wow. So, Amreen, if you may elaborate, describe what was growing up like for you.
Well, on the surface, my life looked perfect. I had a close knit family, loving parents, protective mom, extremely caring brother. But honestly, I had underlying challenges that I had to deal with alone. No one knew about them. In fact, so many people, not many actually, know about them till date, how I struggled with accepting my body image. I come from a typical Indian family, I mean, if you resonate with Asian culture,
Yeah.
we hold super high standards when it comes
That's
to,
true. So
yeah,
true.
like to skin color, height, weight, academics. I mean, the list is endless. But I was just an above average student. Yeah, I mean, I never ranked, but I was just okay. And when it came to skin color, I was on the duskier side. So while growing up, I applied all sorts of face packs that my mom
Okay.
so lovingly prepared, but I was not getting any fairer, obviously. At first, obviously, that doesn't seem like such a bad thing. In fact, it feels like an affectionate thing. But my body image issues aggravated when I was bullied in school by
Oh,
my peers for
okay.
years, which made me believe, it confirmed my belief that it was because of my complexion. I don't know if it was or wasn't, but that belief stayed with me for 10 years. I mean,
That's
come on.
insane.
Yeah.
Seriously.
When you go through one third of
Yeah.
your life
Yeah.
believing you're not good enough, that can really damage your self esteem and confidence and everything you do in future. So, yeah.
So, my last question for you, Amreen, is how did you finally teach yourself the concept of self love?
Well, it has been a long journey, but I'll tell you how it started. Um, if you see any trauma, it has its own lifespan and a tipping point. That's
Right.
the most important. When you finally yell the word enough, and I practically loudly said that one day. There came a point in my life, I think 4 years ago, when I decided enough was enough and I had to take control of my life. I realized how everyone was controlling my emotions except myself. I mean, most women around the world struggle with using their voice,
Oh, yes.
and I did too. I was no different. We spend a large part of our life being told what to do, how to behave. External validation is so
Yeah,
important for us.
yeah.
But when I decided to take charge of my life, the first thing I did was I sought professional help.
Professional help?
Well, you'll be surprised to know, but the first thing I did, I started working with a life coach.
Oh, not surprised at all.
Unfortunately, I didn't know you back then. I wish I did.
That's all right.
But life coaching honestly changed my life. It
Good to
taught
know.
me, it taught me more things than I have ever learned, and I would have never known these things on my own in this lifetime.
Right.
Some of the other things that helped me was, of course, the pandemic, because it helped slow things down and it helped me take a step back, self reflect. So I began to indulge in some self help books, podcasts, etc. I have been meditating every single day since 2019.
Bravo.
And finally, I started my vlogging channel on YouTube. It's been 2 years now, and that honestly gave a boost to my confidence and self esteem, and it just made me feel so fulfilled.
That's amazing, Amreen. Thank you so much for sharing such a vulnerable side of you and your life with us.
Thank you so much, Arati, for having me on your podcast. It was my pleasure. Just remember one thing, if you don't care about yourself, no one else ever will.
Oh, you couldn't have said it any better. Thank you all for tuning in. Take care of yourself, you all. Until next time, don't forget to keep it together.